After winning the Republican endorsement for governor during an intense 9-round battle this weekend, Scott Jensen sat down with our political reporter Theo Keith today.
The family physician from Chaska gained prominence with some COVID skepticism. Now he's talking about broadening his appeal in hopes of ending the GOP's losing streak in statewide races here in Minnesota, which dates back to 2006.
The last 3 governor's races, the GOP candidate has gotten 43%, 44%, and 42%. How are you going to be different?
I think a lot of people would say that I'm not a typical politician. I've been sharply critical of the Republican Party, that we're in need of a makeover. Sure. If all people think of when they think of the Republican Party is a group of stodgy people who don't like new ideas, that's a problem.
Jensen hasn't shied from controversial positions. At this weekend's GOP endorsing convention, he pledged to commute former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter's sentence for killing Daunte Wright during a 2021 traffic stop.
The governor doesn't have unilateral authority to do that. You have to go to the pardon board. Do you think you can get the Attorney General and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to agree with you on that?
I do.
How?
We'll have a conversation. I think I can be very persuasive. I think having Kim Potter in jail does nothing to increase safety, nor does it, if you will, represent justice. I think we can have Kim Potter working on behalf of minority groups, education groups, whatever. Having her in jail with what happened makes no sense to me at all.
Jensen also said he'd be willing to shut down state government to get a voter ID law.
We need to fix this, and I think there's an easy solution out there. If you don't have a photo ID, government will pay for it, but we have got to get that done, and I'd be willing to shut government down to do this, because this is absolutely undercutting our ability to work and play together as diverse communities.
Yesterday, I'm sure you saw the news, the governor and the legislative leaders announced this deal to split the budget surplus into 3 areas. Tax breaks would get a third, new spending, including education, public safety would get a third, and then leave the other third on the bottom line in case the economy worsens. Would you have agreed to that deal?
No.
Why not?
That money is not a surplus. It's an overpayment. And I would have taken that $9 or $10 billion and I would have said, we are going to get it back to the taxpayers one way or another. And whether you have an initial bolus and then you spread the next out over the next 3 years or something. But I think what we need to do is we need to have a really hardcore, robust discussion about what would it take for Minnesota to become a personal income tax free state.
During the pandemic, Jensen gained national prominence with his skepticism about vaccines and opposition to mask mandates and business shutdowns. But polls show COVID has faded from voters' minds.
And so one of my challenges was I needed to demonstrate to the delegates and to Minnesotans that I'm not just a one-trick pony with just one issue. And it's going to be a challenge for me going forward. I would think that Governor Walz and his team and Ken Martin and the Democratic machine would try to paint me into that corner as much as they can.
So what is your game plan to move past COVID?
When you don't know how you're going to feed your baby in terms of accessing baby formula, and you got to spend $75 to $100 to fill up your gas tank, that tends to rise to the top of the list. I think all humans have a tendency to triage, just like we do in medicine. And they're triaging, and they're saying, I've got to take care of my family. And right now, there's not a lot of help.